You know what's happening today. You know what we're about to do. Your Honor, I think there's one more witness that can clear up this discrepancy once and for all. I believe he can prove the prosecution's case to the court. Really? I frankly find that hard to believe. Please trust me, Your Honor. There's an element to this that we're all aren't seeing. And it's one that no one would believe. What do you have planned now? Very well, I'll give you one last chance, Mr. Cuthbert. But know that if your next witness fails to unveil any new information, I won't hesitate to end this trial. I understand, Your Honor. So I'm gonna need you to bear with me for a moment. Why? Your Honor, the prosecution calls Eugene the monkey to the stand. Immediately, the music dies. Never mind, I retract my earlier statement if I'll be passing my verdict. Wait, just bear with me for a moment. Mr. Cuthbert, I should find you in contempt for even suggesting this. Do you honestly think I'll allow a monkey to give testimony in my courtroom? Yeah, it sounds pretty out there, even for us. I'd like to remind the court of the nature of Harold's bond with Eugene. Eugene is a familiar. That means that Haroldson can speak with him telepathically. He can relay Eugene's testimony to us. But this is... Absolutely. Yeah, well, if we're under the impression that... I think the conclusion we reached previously was that Eugene was involved, but Harold was not involved. Like, Harold seemed genuinely surprised at what the heck Eugene may have been doing. So we can probably trust Harold's testimony here. Or Harold's relayance of Eugene's testimony here. Show me the law that says an animal can't give testimony, Your Honor. Smack. It may be unprecedented, but it's not against the law. Very well. Your Honor, are you serious? Oh, Miss Tamora, I am looking for any possible reason not to entertain this. But Mr. Cuthbert has a point. There are no laws against his proposal. So I have no choice but to oblige his frankly insane request for now. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. If not as if this will reveal anything. I can't believe I'm saying this, but... Bailiff, please escort Miss Lord Haroldson's monkey to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation to the court. I could do without the sarcasm, Miss Tamora. Eugene is Eugene! Eugene Monkey! Bailiff, make sure the stenographer gets Haroldson's translations. Didn't see the armbands. Must have been at his normal intelligence. Although, how would he even wear them? Collar? Perhaps he held them in his hands on that night. They only required physical contact, after all. Eugene, did you steal from the gallery on the night of the murder? Eugene never steal from Harold. Eugene respect Harold. And you'll have no problem testifying about where you went during the Lord's Ball. Can't believe I let you convince me to permit this. Alright. Eugene explore house. Eugene look for a new place to play. Eugene also look for spiders. Spiders yum yum. You think Eugene steal armbands of intellect? Eugene never steal from Harold. Harold friend. Eugene always Harold's friend. Apes, strong, together. Oh my god. Wow, you did it, Cuthbert. You blew this case wide open. Is this really going to help us? Look, you'll just have to trust me on this. I trust you? That didn't sound like it turned into a question at the end. Celeste, please. Alright. Hold it. And Harold is an associate of House Frege. Surely you visited Frege Manor before that night. Manor constantly changes. William always doing renovations. There's always a new discovery to be made. Suppose that made sense. William certainly had the gold for it. Anyways, what else did you do that night, Eugene? Eugene always looked for spiders. Spiders, yum yum. Hold it. Do you enjoy eating spiders? Spiders good. Rich in nutrients. Oh boy. Wait, really? Some cultures in the Eastern Kingdoms eat roasted crickets. Well, that's fair. I've tried them. They're actually not bad if they're prepared correctly. I don't think I could even ever be that adventurous. Can we please stay on topic? You think Eugene steal armbands of intellect? I wasn't accusing you of stealing anything, Eugene. How do you know? Once you accidentally unlocked this case and took them, thinking they were some sort of toy. This could all be an honest mistake. Eugene not dumb. Eugene knows how important artifacts are to Harold. Eugene never take from him. I don't want to look at... Tracker thought the, sword of spell eating was a stick. And then found another stick in Celeste's sword. It's a curious detail. But then again, I mean, we can try it then, but then again, like, if Eugene's really so close to Harold, and they are, of course, familiar and mage, then Eugene might just know what the stuff is. Eugene is 20. Eugene is an adult, Your Honor. You never do that. Then how do you explain your brief contact with the Sword of Spell Eating? Harold couldn't have telepathically contacted you unless one of you was wielding it. Oh. Eugene doesn't understand question. He probably wouldn't understand how the sword worked without his heightened intelligence. Unless... Eugene always Harold's friend. Hey, strong together. Do you consider yourself close to Harold? I would guess so. They literally have a magical connection with each other. Right, I suppose the bond between a mage and his familiar would require a lot of trust. Harold saved Eugene from Badman years ago. Eugene would never betray. So you're a rescue. Badman locked Eugene in cage. He'd tell people to throw peanuts at Eugene. Harold take Eugene away from that prison. Lock up Badman. Seemed to genuinely care for Harold. Could that be why he did this? Because he feels indebted to him. That might have been his motive. Tyrion. I know it looks bad, but I swear there's more to this. If you say so. There had to be something in his statements. I bet he had to have been wearing the armbands on the night of the murder. Which thought revealed that? Think about how Tracker spoke. Is anything different about the way Eugene was speaking? Oh, maybe that is. They specifically pointed that out. I want to see... That might be where we're going here.
Objection!
Wait a minute. Eugene... Okay. Alright. Eugene, I asked you before if you stole anything from Harold's gallery. Eugene, no. Eugene would never steal from Harold. Cuthbert, don't waste our time by having him repeat that statement. That's the thing, Mr. Moore. That's not the same statement he made in his testimony. I asked the witness if he stole an artifact from the gallery. Never mentioned the armbands of intellect. Who? What are you talking about? The witness lacks the understanding to differentiate between the artifacts. If that's true, then why did he use its actual name? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean, Mr. Cuthbert. Your Honor, animals can't speak the same way humans do. Even when a telepathic link is established, their vocabulary is extremely limited. Right, Tracker called the Sword of Spell Eating a stick before. Okay. It's hard to understand what he really meant. Exactly. So that raises the question. How did Eugene know they were called the Armbands of Intellect? Wait, how did he know? The armbands were stolen during the Lord's Ball, replaced with a well-made replica. If he had worn the armbands when he was sneaking through the vents, he would have never had the opportunity to put them back. The armbands were still missing.
Maybe.
Couldn't be. Was he really? The armbands were designed to be worn by humans, so Eugene couldn't wear them on his arms. So where would he wear them? I usually thought that he just carried them, but that's a far simpler explanation. Eugene, do you still maintain that you didn't steal the armbands of intellect? Eugene told you already. Eugene never steals from Harold. I suppose you wouldn't mind taking off your hat. That's his thing. You can't be serious, Cuthbert. Do you seriously think he's wearing them right now? It's the only thing that makes sense. The armbands were taken on the night of the murder, and they are still missing. If Eugene did indeed steal the armbands that night, he would never had the opportunity to return them. He had no choice but to continue wearing them until the investigation was over. Then who put the fakes in there? That's absolutely ridiculous. You're spinning a fairy tale. I'm wrong. The witness can easily refute my theory by removing his hat. Well, what's it going to be, Eugene? He finally broke character. His posture straightening into something far less primitive. His back straightened, his breathings became controlled, his arms became more deliberate in their movements. He slowly but silently lifted his hat, feeling what had been right under all of our noses. No, you can't be serious. Everyone could see it plainly. He was wearing the armbands like a crown around his tiny head. On the back of his hat, I saw him pull out something else. A pipe? Well done, Mr. Cuthbert. I shouldn't have underestimated you. Are you serious? It's probably a blessing in disguise. Acting like a common chimp was humiliating.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor. On what grounds, Mr. Mora? On what grounds? Everything about this situation is objectionable. It's downright absurd. Yeah. Oh, busted. Is he seriously Beatrice's accomplice? Mr. Mora, we can't deny what's clearly in front of us. I was not ready for today. How is he even talking right now? Scholars believe that humans and apes evolved from a common ancestor. Perhaps all apes can speak the common language under the right circumstances. Evolved. Please, I've observed your society. I think calling yourselves evolved is it being quite generous. This can't be happening. What, are you all done gawking at me? I'm bloody Philistines. Philistines? Wait a minute. That was coming from Eugene. You could finance invites my museum to set up some displays here every year. You must think it adds a semblance of culture to Philistine. You had already stolen it at that point. Every insulting thought I've been seeing from Harold, they weren't Harold's thoughts at all. They were Eugene's thoughts. He'd been wearing the armband since we first met. I still don't understand. Why would you even take the armbands in the first place? I'll admit that the Lord's Ball was one of many occasions. The first time I touched them was due to sheer chance. Put them on by accident? My unawakened self was enamored by its glittering sheen. I merely wanted to touch them. When I first held them in my hands, I experienced a sense of clarity that was intoxicating. I was afraid of what I'd experienced, so I placed them back where they belonged. As I returned to my primitive lifestyle, I couldn't stop thinking about what I felt. You were hooked. I wouldn't quite phrase it like that, but I suppose you're not wrong. I'd heard that password to Harold's vault more times than I could count, so I'd come in from time to time and indulge in the armband's power. The more time I spent with my awakened intellect, the more I craved its power when I had to put them back. And that's when you made the replica. While no one was watching, I devised a plan to discreetly take the armbands. Harold would eventually discover that they were stolen, but he would have concluded that a noble from the Lord's Ball took them. It was the pressure that he was receiving from the crown. I'm not proud of what I've done, but I never expected things to reach this point. I didn't expect someone to steal the sword of spell eating as well. I certainly didn't expect a murder to happen that night. So you still maintain that you're innocent? Of course I do. I stole the armbands, but I did not murder William Frege. Nor did I take the sword of spell eating. Allow me to elaborate. So that he said the thing. Oh shit! He's got the nobility theme now. I'll admit that I took the armbands and replaced them with a replica, but I was not the crook who stole the sword of spell eating. Thefts were completely different from one another. The display case for the sword was completely shattered. I spotted the sword when I was exploring the manor. It was lying inside the middle of a hallway. I wondered why such an important artifact would be lying there. So I took a closer look to inspect it. That's when I heard Harold call out to me telepathically. The sword must have protected me, and by extension Harold, from the anti-magic field. I wanted to take the sword and return it, but a wild dog chased me away from the scene. Here's a point. He didn't need to shatter the display case for the sword. Yeah, he already knew the passwords. Okay, so instead of being controlled by Beatrice, he was just fully aware and intelligent. That does put a wrinkle into how he connects to the murder, though. Tracker said that Eugene was the one who dropped the sword. Furthermore, he escaped into the air vent that led into William's study. His actions that night were definitely not as innocent as his testimony implied. He must have lied somewhere. Hold it. You stole the armband by using Harold's spoken password. Yes, I sat on his shoulder most of the time. He obviously never suspected what I'd do. The simple matter of listening to him when he transported the artifacts to Frege Manor. Can I assume that you knew the password for the other displays as well? I do, and I could easily demonstrate that if needed. I doubted that he'd lie about that when he could easily check him. Even so, you already lied about not stealing the armbands. Why should we believe you now? The answer to that lies in the physical evidence. That is fair. How do we know that you didn't shatter the glass to cover your tracks? Harold's password would have disengaged the lock, but they wouldn't disable the magic that protects the glass. The spells weren't even disabled anyways. Harold told you that himself, didn't he? Only a powerful mage could have shattered the reinforced glass. It's a familiar magic can be cast through you. Only Harold can cast magic through me. I can't cast any spells myself. And even if I could, Harold's spell compendium doesn't have a spell that powerful enough for that. His logic was sound. If what he was saying was true, who shattered the glass? Anyways... that location was near the Frege's bedrooms. Don't tell me that you... what do you take me for, some primitive lecher? I know what a bedroom looks like. I'd never enter one uninvited, especially a young woman's. Then why were you there in the first place? I was going back from the rooftop garden, but suddenly I suddenly felt something interfering with the armband's magic. The anti-magic fields. Yes, I was worried that something had happened, so I made my way back to the gallery to meet up with Harold. I see. Could you add this to your testimony? Very well. Rooftop garden to the gallery. I'll descend to the hallway north of Beatrice's bedroom. But Beatrice's bedroom North of Beatrice's bedroom. We put it up there past the bath. This is the point of concern here. So you were heading directly from the rooftop garden to the gallery. How do you honestly expect us to believe that someone just left the sword of spell eating in the hallway? Think what you will, but it's the truth. Perhaps the murderer left it there after they'd been done using it. If the King's Guard found it there, they would have no idea who stole it. It did sound possible, but I still had my doubts. Closer look. And that's when you made contact with it. Yes, I was quite surprised too. At the time, my magic of the armbands was being nullified. When I picked up the sword, my intelligence temporarily returned. That's how I knew that I was holding the sword of spell eating. That makes sense. Harold called out to you then, because everything was nullified. I understand how it would have protected you, but how would it have protected Harold? The familial bond connects the magic of both targets. When one spell affects one target, it can also affect the other creature in the bond. Protection with the sword of spell eating extended to both of us once it held it in my hands. Made sense. Also explain how Tracker heard life when he held the sword. Oh, didn't you have time to grab this? Didn't you have enough time to grab the sword? You were holding it after all. I'm not proud to admit it, but my survival instincts took over. At that point, I was more concerned about escaping that wild animal. Tracker was several times larger than him. He had every reason to be afraid. The story makes sense. There's no way he could have shattered the glass. I suppose so. Tracker saw him that night. He was definitely traversing the vents in that hallway. Which means he lied somewhere in his testimony. Now, if I present Tracker's testimony here...
Objection!
Boom. Eugene, I'm sure you're well aware of this, but the best way to lie is to hide a false detail within many truths. And what are you trying to insinuate, Mr. Cuthbert? Say that you were heading for the terrace to the gallery. Did you take any detours? Of course not. With the armbands nullified, my intelligence was slowly fading. I wanted to return to Harold as soon as possible. Witness, I'd like for you to take a look at this floor map of Frega Manor. This is the location where that wild dog found the sword of spell eating. But tell me, Eugene, how did you spot the sword of spell eating? When it was hidden in the hallway north of Beatrice's room. That's... You're nitpicking such an insignificant statement. You probably just got distracted and went down the wrong hallway. Mr. Moore, Eugene came from the rooftop garden, and he was adamant that he went directly to the gallery to reunite with Harold. Even if his intellect was muddled, he was intent on reuniting with his worried companion. He definitely took the direct route, but if he did, he would never have been able to see into that hallway. I see your point, Mr. Cuthbert, but what does this mean? It means the witness lied about where he was before he discovered the sword of spell eating. Was it coming from the rooftop garden? He came from the air vents in that specific hallway. So why were you in that hallway, Eugene? Uh-oh. You lied in your testimony. It's because you wanted to hide what you were really doing that night. Eugene, you snuck through the air vents to avoid detection. And you used the air vent in that hallway to break into William's study. After that, you murdered him using his letter opener, didn't you? That's not what I went there to do. No, I didn't mean... Oh?
Order!
Bang. Order! Order the court! Witness, is this true? Did you break into William Frega's study during the lockdown? Yes, I did enter his study, but not for the reason you think. William Frega was already dead when I got there. What? What did you just say? It's true. Do you honestly expect us to believe a story like that? How could someone else have killed the victim before you got there? Tracker took the sword of spell eating, and you were the only intelligent creature that could walk through the air vents. I understand how unbelievable and suspicious it sounds. But it's the truth, Mr. Cuthbert, and you have to believe me. I didn't see any contradicting thoughts through the eye, but that hardly absolved him of any guilt. Could he really be telling the truth? That was true. Only brought me back to the one question I've been asking since this all began. Who really did this? Okay, Eugene. Let's assume you're telling the truth. Do you actually believe me? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. You're still my only suspect for this. But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for now. I see. However, if you want to absolve yourself, I need you to tell me about what you really saw that night. Maybe something, anything that can point to what really did this, who really did this. Very well, I'll tell you what I saw, although I doubt you'll believe me. I secretly made my way to that hallway through another air vent, exited the air vent at that hallway and tried to leap to the other side. I'm not sure if it was my waning intelligence or my carelessness, but I collided with something that I couldn't see. Fell to the ground and found the sword of spell eating laying next to me. I wanted to retrieve the sword, but that wild dog forced me to retreat. After that, I continued to make my way to the study. That's when I found William Frager. He was dead on the floor and lying in a pool of blood. And as if I were blessed by the scaled lord himself, I found the will that he'd been drafting, so I destroyed it. Why did you do that? Frankly, Mr. Haraldson, I find that story very difficult to believe. I assumed as much, but you know what they say. Truth is stranger than fiction. Isn't it more likely that you murdered the victim? You're clearly trying to cover up what you did by saying that he was already dead. Honestly, I really don't know what to think. Is he really telling the truth? But why were you there in the first place? It all began when William Frager got into that argument with Harold. That cur wanted to defund the prestigious Haraldson Hall of History. I knew a man like William probably had many secrets, but advised the plan to break into his study and find something that I could use to blackmail him. As you know, it's a small air vent in that hallway. It connects to William's study on the ground floor. Thought I could look through his documents while he was preoccupied with the Lord's Ball. Wasn't aware that William was planning to stay in his study all night. I suppose that did make sense. Was he really telling the truth? What happened when you tried to leap the other air vent, Eugene? Something that you couldn't see. I thought monkeys were extremely dexterous. Aren't you just clumsy? I have impeccable dexterity, you cur. You worm. It sounded like I struck a nerve there. I must have been muddled from losing the armbands and magic. I think you couldn't see. That feels worthy of addressing on its own. Don't you know it was the sword of spell eating? When I held my hands, I felt my intelligence return. And I also heard Harold calling out to me telepathically. I was clearly growing worried, so I knew I needed to move quickly. Alright, this is pretty much what we covered before. Did this wild dog have a white coat of fur? I did. Are you acquainted with him? Something like that. Well, next time you meet him, tell him that I don't appreciate being called a rat. I'm a proud orangutan. You can understand him? I picked up a little of the canine language throughout my life. I'm also fluent in squirrel and pigeon. I can also speak owl, but I mean it's barely conversational. As much as I wanted to test the validity of those claims, they weren't relevant to this case. What happened when you entered the study? Alright, down the floor. Alright, tell me more. It seems awfully convenient that he was murdered before you arrived. You're not wrong. I know how it may seem, but I'm telling you the truth. And do you have any explanation for how the assailant broke into the study without the sword? I unfortunately do not. Still don't know what the sword was up to at that time. Please. It's obvious that your testimony doesn't match up with the evidence. Whoever did this either entered through the vents or they used the sword to nullify the lock. And your own testimony states that the sword was abandoned in that hallway. It didn't match up with what I thought happened, but did it really contradict the evidence? Anyways, what did you do when you discovered the body? Do we get to affirm this testimony? I knew it was only a matter of time before someone else discovered the body, so I could search the room for something that I could use. Found that. Hold it. This will. Oops. So you were the one who took the will. I've been trying to find it. What did it say? I was pressed for time, so I didn't read the entire document. I only skimmed it and found an order to defund the Haraldson Hall of History. Since he went out of his way to specify that in the current copy, I concluded that his former will didn't have this addendum. So you tried to save Harold's museum by ensuring that the new will would never be submitted for probate. Anyways, do you have the will with you? My apologies. I crumpled up the will into a ball and ate it. I then left the room before my intelligence was completely gone. Oof. I was really hoping to see if William followed through on his threat to disinherit Beatrice. Oh? It's hard to believe, but I couldn't see any direct contradictions. I didn't think pressing him anymore would get me anywhere. If Eugene did indeed do this, my next course of action was clear. But that still didn't explain how Beatrice fit into all of this. It was something that Tracker had said to me. He said you had to smell to see where the rat was. When he dropped his stick, you were finally able to see him. Does that mean you couldn't visually see him before he fell down? Yeah, Tracker couldn't see the rat with his eyes, so Tracker used his nose to see it. Eugene was invisible. Eugene, when you were carrying out your plan, did you turn yourself invisible somehow? No, I hardly had the means to. Even if I had somehow convinced Harold to cast a spell on me, he doesn't know how to cast invisibility. What was the other... Do you see... I mean, I'm still of the mind that Beatrice friggin' smacking her hands together constantly is the trigger for re-upping an invisibility spell. Pretty much ever since we were told this. Beatrice's gesture of focus is her re-upping invisibility. Like that's the only thing. That's just gotta be. Very few mages do. Alright, I remember Eris saying the same thing during Wallace's trial. Only a master of illusion magic could do that. That's why I first thought Beatrice was involved. If Eugene was truly innocent, did she turn someone else invisible? Once again, that just put me right back where I started. No, I need to think through this. Although, if Eugene really did hit something he couldn't see, then maybe something else was turned visible. Maybe that invisible person was blocking Eugene from view from Tracker. This is getting spicy. Eugene's testimony filled in a blank that had been missing. I fell to the ground and found the sword of spell eating laying next to me. How did you know it was the sword? I held it in my hands. I felt my intelligence return. I also heard Harold calling out to me telepathically. It's very clearly growing worried. So I know I needed to move quickly. I wanted to retrieve the sword, but that wild dog forced me to retreat. After that, I continued to make my way to the study. I then cross-referenced that with Tracker's testimony. When Tracker smelled flying rat. Tracker could smell where Rat was, so Tracker borked at him. Tracker must have scared Rat because Rat fell onto the floor and dropped his stick. The invisible person dropped the sword of spell eating, and Eugene fell to the floor. Alright, we're cooking. The thief dropped the sword in that hallway. And how did that make sense? They hide the sword there, as I'd originally thought. No. That hallway was close to the gallery. There were plenty of other better places to hide the sword. If it weren't for the Tracker taking it, it would have been found even sooner. The thief must have accidentally dropped the sword there. That can only mean one thing. Maybe. Oh, at least the bath. How do we... Thief was also sneaking through the air vents. The only reason why they would be there, but that would imply that the thief was as small as Eugene. Could it have been another familiar? And if so, why didn't Eugene notice them? Alright, time to look at people. Who else is on this list of small people? Wait. Something that I couldn't see. Yep. Collided with something he couldn't see. In other words, it was something that wasn't visible to him. Master of illusion magic. Beatrice is one of the few people at the ball who could cast invisibility. Beatrice would never trust anyone enough to work together like this. She's completely blind. She wouldn't have much of a choice. She's not the type of person to trust her accomplice to stay quiet. She wouldn't leave a loose end open like that. Had I been approaching this situation incorrectly the entire time? With the eye, I knew that Beatrice was involved somehow, but I just assumed that she had plotted this with someone else. Breaking the glass and the casting of invisibility. These were the elements that I knew she had to be involved with. They really fit together. Not unless she was the one pulling the strings the entire time. It's only one way she could be in control the entire time. Rat. Underestimating Beatrice's role in what happened that night. Beatrice couldn't perform some acts due to her blindness. One tool that she could have used to do all of this. Well, memories came back to me in that moment. Yes, as my familiar Eugene. Oh, you cast a familial bond on him. Right, you know about it. It's quite rare. If you may just take the time to learn how to cast it. Hi, I'm Tyrion. I'm Mr. Mora's ward. Smack. Then taking my hand, she clapped her hands together and took a deep breath. What? Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's a bit of a habit of mine. Oh. I'm Beatrice. I've heard much about you. Shook my hand before looking to Mr. Mora. Didn't know that she was blind back then, so I barely even noticed it. How'd you know that I was holding out my hand? Well, do you have any other questions for me? If you're wrong about this, Beatrice would surely be acquitted. After that, the Inquisition would turn its attention to Harold and Eugene. There's only one way to know for sure. Your Honor, the prosecution has no further questions for the current witness. He's dismissed. What? I see. You have something else planned, don't you? Yeah, and I actually need your help. Really? Whispered it into her ear. Really? You're making some big assumptions there. Wouldn't the Inquisition check for something like that? I know, but it's the best plan we have. What Steelwind said yesterday. The moment the guards saw the body, some one of them just cast Detect Magic. That spell they would have seen in the invisible people hiding in this room. Wait, you can use Detect Magic like that? Of course, it's standard procedure. Like all spells, invisibility leaves traces of magic on the person it's cast on. So mages can use Detect Magic as a way to see them. If everything goes the way I think it will, I'll be able to prove its existence in front of everyone. Alright, I'll follow your lead then. So, Mr. Cuthbert, how do we proceed? Your previous witness brought about more revelations than I could have ever guessed. However, you still haven't given a substantial explanation for how the murder occurred, or who actually did it. Understand that, Your Honor. It will all make sense after I call my next witness. Another witness? Understand your hesitancy, Your Honor, but everything that we've learned throughout these trials is finally coming together. This final witness will tie it all together in a perfect knot. Your Honor, the prosecution calls Beatrice Fragan at the stand. Hi, Eugene. Seriously, Cuthbert. You went through all that trouble just to end up calling my client to the stand. Hey, the journey was worth it. You and your client have the right to refuse, Mr. Mora. But I wonder how that will reflect on your client's character. Oh, yep, two can play this game. It didn't really matter. She was already standing next to Mr. Mora. We could carry out our plan regardless of what she decided to do. It would have much more impact if I could bait her into lying on the stand. My client says that she's willing to testify. However, we would like to propose a short recess. These new developments, I assure you can understand that we have much to discuss. I see no reason not to grant the defense's request. Is this really okay? Give them time to prep. They might realize what we're doing. I know, but I don't think we have anything to worry about. I've been learning a lot about Beatrice since this case began. It was hard to read her expressions and emotions, even with the Eye of Horus. She kept herself guarded and kept her true intentions unknown. Powerful. More powerful than her father ever cared to admit. Despite this, he tried to control her and put her inside a cage. Beatrice Fragan would never live in a cage. She wanted freedom and control, and she would do whatever it took to get it. I'm sure the accidents that blinded her didn't help things, but it also worked in her favor. Her blindness made people underestimate her, and she found a way to use even that to her advantage. Everything was said and done, she abandoned everything, her wealth, her status, even her family. She could have waited. She could have gritted her teeth until it was her turn to lead House Frege. If she was waiting, she could even secretly pushed her father past the gates of death herself. She couldn't bear to live like that, even temporarily. I had no idea why this was how she chose to do that. I've said something to do with their meeting. I did know one thing. Beatrice Fragan would never put herself in a position of vulnerability. If I faced her head on, she would respond in kind. In the interest of giving the defense time to deliberate, we will be taking an extended recess. Court is adjourned. As I was exiting the courtroom, I sent Celeste to do some reconnaissance. To be similar to when she scanned Valentina during Wallace's trial. Tyrion. Celeste, were you able to see it? Yeah, it's definitely there. It sits on her shoulder most of the time. Invisible familiar. So she keeps it close to her. Well, that's good to know. It's kind of weird, though. Never used detect magic like this before. I doubt that someone like her would choose a conventional animal, especially for something as important as this. Cuthbert? Mr. Mora? There's something I need to show you. Preferably alone. Celeste gave me a concerned look. I nodded to show her it was okay. She moved to sit on the bench and kept a careful watch on Beatrice. Okay, lead the way. Oh shit, alright. What? Life, are you here? Miriam found Life sitting in Beatrice's dusty old room. Oh? She was staring at nothing. Mine was elsewhere. Barely acknowledged Miriam as she entered the room. How are you? I'm okay. This trial has really been something, hasn't it? Life who had been traumatized by talking to Beatrice in the, My mind almost defaulted to Old Bailey in the jail. Maybe we could take a break from all this. You could have that tea you wanted. I don't think that would be a good idea right now. Her voice was empty. She was practically muttering her words. Right, of course. Miriam, why do you hate me? What? I don't. You never want to visit, and you always avoid talking to me when you do. It's the first time I've ever seen you in years, and you want nothing to do with me. I know I'm annoying. I know I'm not as smart as you, but that's not... Oh, I don't hate you, Life. Nobody likes me. What? Anyone who spends time with me is just trying to get something from our family, or just trying to get with me. And I see you, tripping over yourself trying to please Father and everyone else. You're so desperate, it infuriates me. Ugh. At least we're being honest with each other, question mark? I thought I was better than you. I thought I was stronger than you. I had risen above what had happened while you were still living in the past. Then Beatrice suddenly came back and... Miriam. I like you. That just made Miriam burst out laughing. Really? You? Like me? Despite my welcoming personality or my amazing people skills. No, I really do like you. I've always admired you. You're intelligent and confident. You've been working with the Crown Prince. I wish I could be more like you. I definitely didn't have a perfect average at the Academy. I hate that average. It just means that I'm never allowed to make a mistake. The curse of being the guy who gets all A's. You're the only person who could understand what living under Father was like. What about Beatrice? I was talking to her earlier. She admitted to me that she really did kill Father. What? Why would she? Why would she tell you that? I don't know. She even told me that she was behind the attack on Lady Steelwind. I'm thinking of telling Tyrion Cuthbert about this, but I don't know what to do. Knowing him, he probably already knows. It's not as if we have any proof anyway. And if we testify, people will just think we're trying to steal her share of the inheritance. Her share of the intelligence? Of the inheritance. I don't know what to do anymore. I really feel bad for these girls. I really feel bad for them. Although, to be fair, Miriam just kind of being the linchpin witness to spiral us into the culprit of case 2. And honestly, her bravado being very clearly kind of pathetic. Makes her a bit less hateable, but this chapter's done a really good job of putting us in their mind of how their life is here as noble kids of a ruthless piece of shit noble. These two were going through it, and I care them. You can start by telling me more about what exactly Beatrice said to you. Bonding? Mr. Moore led me out of the courthouse and into the city. Every time I asked her where she was taking me, she avoided answering. Right, we're here. Arrived at an empty alley and frankly seedier part of the city. Mr. Moore approached one of the derelict buildings. She was met with a large, burly man who was guarding the back door. What is this? The man silently acknowledges her and steps aside to lead her in. Mr. Moore, where are we going? I'm sorry about this. I'm sure you're confused. You need to trust me. I'll explain everything. What are you getting us into? Before I had a chance to ask for more, she moved into the building. The man guarding the door looked at me expectantly. The entire situation didn't sit right with me, but I still followed after her. Despite our recent disagreements, I knew that I could still trust her. Can we? Went further into the building, I found myself in a surprisingly well-furnished room. How I looked outside, I would never guess that it looked like this. It almost looked like a room I should encounter in the Frege Manor. As I entered, I spotted several armed men standing at various points in the room. And most surprisingly, I saw Eris standing near the window. I shot her a confused look, but she simply smiled and waved at me. You! Sitting at a desk next to her was a man with an eye patch. He looked friendly and welcoming, but the eye of Horus couldn't read anything from him. It was like trying to read thoughts from a stone. I felt reminiscent of those charlatans trying to sell me suspicious miracle potions on the street. Ah, Tamora. On seeing the two of us, he cordially welcomed my mentor for turning his attention to me. And you must Tyrion. Tamora has told me a lot about you. Who are you? I've been called many names over the years, but my favorite has always been the Eye Taker. Creation. Boss! Curious. Planning some sort of revolution and working with Ruby Tamora for that purpose. The Eye Taker? Well, that sounds right, you've already heard of me. Tamora, what is this? My daughter Eris has told me all about your work prosecuting this case. Eris was his daughter? I have to say, I'm quite impressed. Getting a monkey to testify. I don't think I could even pull off a grift like that. You're pretty much blown past my expectations. Why, I... Get to the point. As soon as I interrupted him, I felt every person in the room tense up. Relax, everyone. Kids will be kids. A father myself, you know. Hi, Eris. I'll get straight to the point. I have a certain interest in the outcome of this trial. What are you talking about? Little Lady Frege has been a client of ours for a long time. I've done quite a lot of favors for her. It's been quite an investment, you see. Those debts that Steelwind mentioned, they all belong to me. There's no need to worry, I know she's good for it. That is, if she can inherit House Frege. What? Moore's a good attorney, even without my help. If she were convicted, could have easily reduced her sentence by rubbing the right hands. But you see, there's that pesky Slayer rule. The thing is, Cuthbert, I need Beatrice Frege to be acquitted in this current trial. I narrowed my eyes at him, then to Miss Tamora. So that's what this is about? House Frege's gold? That's why you helped her murder William Frege? Please, my goals aren't nearly so short-sighted. I have big plans, not just for Beatrice, but for this entire kingdom. I need House Frege for that. Just like you needed Justin Way? Tyrion! Ah, Justin. That's really a shame what happened to him. But not so innocent. He would never have gotten involved with Von Sanctus if it wasn't for his debts to you. Is that so? Do you think I just randomly showed up on his doorstep one day demanding gold? He was the one who came to my people for help. I just told him to pay back what is owed. If he hadn't come to me, it would have been some other criminal locked up with him. And that's besides the point. Enough about what I wanted from Justin. Let's talk about what I want from you. Do you want me to throw the case? Ah, I love this kid. Oh, I don't have to beat around the bush with this one. No one will doubt you, especially considering the amount of work you put into this already. You don't need to do anything. Just stumble a little bit near the end, take a dive, and let someone else take the fall. No matter what happens, the courts will blame someone for this. If it makes you feel better, I can assign Timur to defend the old man and his monkey. That way, everyone can come out of this unharmed. Everyone wins. Except for the fact that a murderer will be put in charge of House Frege. Kid, there was always a murderer in charge of House Frege. You've been hearing about it in the news, haven't you? About all those insurrections in the countryside. What's that have to do with House Frege? Did you ever stop to think about how little sense it made? Why would Lucio Steelwind keep massacring all those people? What'd he gain from that? Doesn't matter how bloodthirsty he is, he wouldn't last very long in this kingdom if he had that little self-control. His reputation's in the hole now. He's even mucking up his daughter's arranged marriage to the future king. What do you think gained the most from that? Scale Lord. The man with the money decides the rules. He's just flat out fucking poisoned his reputation. Shit. House Frege secretly owns every printing press in Wyverngard. House Frege... Fucking Frege really came out and said fake news, all these people dying out there. That's Lucio Steelwind being a fucking raisin motherfucker. Shit. My few false reports here, pay for a few assassinations there, you get the gist. For a man with William's resources, public opinion can be whatever he wants it to be. We should all thank little Miss Frege for digging all this up. But Miss Tamora, had she been hiding this from me the whole time? Is Lucio Steelwind even as bloodthirsty as I'd always thought he was? I actually saw him do anything that criminal during my case in Aranax. If you all knew about this, why didn't you release it to the public? Damn, are you really that naive? Public will do zilch. Everyone's out for themselves. People get angry for a week or two, but no one really gives a damn. You saw it yourself. You caught Von Sanctus red-handed. He didn't even get hit with community service. We're all just pawns in the nobility's game. I've got a pawn myself, and she is going to become a beautiful queen by the end of this. I find they have a level playing field with those bastards. Tyrion, please, just listen to him. How can you go along with this? I told you a long time ago that there were certain parts of my job that I couldn't tell you about. Well, this is it. This is what we need to do to beat them. Those rumors about you, they're all true, aren't they? Forgery, bribery, blackmail. You're guilty of each and every one of them. You used him to do it, so you could keep winning. You blackmailed Miriam, Miss Tamora. Always if you should show any pity for that spoiled princess. A dreadful thought came to mind. Steelwind. She was attacked the day that Beatrice was arrested. Was that? He didn't know that's what they were planning. I have no doubt in Tamura's skills, but I'm afraid there was too much writing on this to leave to chance. You gotta make your own luck if you want to beat the system. How could you? She almost died! I don't expect her to strain her injuries like that. We definitely didn't expect you to take her place. Believe me when I say that I'm being uncharacteristically reasonable right now. How could you even consider working with someone like him? Don't you think it's a little arrogant to judge her, Cuthbert? What? Talk about defending people as if you two are even close to being equals. But she doesn't have the luxury of looking into people's minds, now does she? You told him about the Eye of Horus? Oh, we are so done after this. We are done after this. Future magic is changing, kid. Like I said before, I have big plans for the kingdom, and I also have big plans for you. This is some fucking Fate Stay Night caster shit where he's gonna turn him into a living lie detector wand or something. You think I would ever... Tyrion, stop! I hate this as much as you do. Whether you like it or not, we need help from people like them. It's the only way we can ensure we win. This is... About every client you defended. Think of Celeste. Didn't have the Eye of Horus. What would have happened to her? If one thing had gone differently, Pierce would have gotten away and Celeste would have been executed. Taking chances and followed your instincts, but that's worked for you so far. But one day it's not going to be enough. Who's going to die because of that? This help, you'll never have to worry about that again. That's if I can deal with the devil right there. So it's going to be, kid. You already know about what happened to Steelwind's brat. I need to tell you what'll happen if you don't play ball. Wait! No. What? Maybe you're right. Maybe I can't always win with and against nobility unless I operate as they do. But this won't change anything. I'll just be trading one set of criminals for another. Tyrion, I'm not gonna become everything I hate about this kingdom. Not even for you, Mr. Mora. Sorry to hear you say that, kid. I really am. Oh shit. With one motion of his hand, every mercenary in the room drew their weapons. Wait, stop! Whatever conviction I had before was slowly fading. I should have never entered this place. I knew something was off. There were about a dozen mercenaries here, and they were even more guarding the exit. Just nowhere near as physically strong as Celeste. Maybe I could make a break for it if I got lucky. Maybe Celeste knows that something was going wrong and she's gonna fucking big damn heroes. I know! Celeste! What the? How'd you get in here? You honestly think I'd just let you take him to some suspicious shack? Doesn't matter, as if one girl will make a difference. Well, what are you all waiting for? That really hurt. Upon seeing Celeste, the mercenaries cautiously stepped back. No one wanted to make the first move. Monstrous aura. It has to be her. She just fucking pops up behind Tyrion, just Jojo Doom. Jojo Doom aura all around her. How you doing? You ever surrounded? Despite his command, no one took a step forward. Look, let's all just sit down and talk about this. Perhaps a different approach is warranted here, Father. Uh-oh, what? Could I have the opportunity to speak with Mr. Cuthbert? I believe I can make him see things our way. Sorry, sweetie, but you just... Oh. Well, you've never been wrong before. I'll leave them to you, love. Shall we go, you two? Celeste silently watched Eris with her sword drawn, but unlike the mercenaries, Eris seemed unfazed. She is something else. She simply walked past her and out of the exit. I exchanged glances and followed after her. I don't think I could have fought that whole room while protecting you. You two are really courageous to a fault, aren't you? Eris, I appreciate you stepping in, but I'm not changing my mind about this. Oh, I'm well aware of that. Why do you think I intervened? Oh, well, thank you. Is this really okay? Won't your dad be mad? No, she has something else planned, I'm sure. I should be asking Tyrion that same question. You've seen your adoptive mother's true colors and rejected them. How are the two of you going to move forward? She's not my... Isn't she, though? She lost any right to deny it the moment she took it upon herself to raise you. She only did that because I asked her to. It wasn't her choice. Oh, but it was. How old were you when your real mother was executed? 10? Eris! Back then, you barely knew Tamora. She was the adult in that situation, and what did she do? Instead of allowing you to process your grief and move on, she fed you anger and hatred for the nobility. Shit, she's right. Tamora took you away from your only friends and isolated you from society. She even homeschooled you, didn't she? That's... Damn. As a result, you never formed any other relationships. You made your first close friend at the age of 20, and she was your client. Don't you think it's a bit sad? That's not true. That's not why she... What I've seen today, you clearly have no idea who Tamora is. Even with the Eye of Horus, you're clearly a terrible judge of character. Eris leaned in really close. to me and whispered something into my ear. Do you really think Tamora loves you? You think Celeste will ever love... Oh, fuck, that's... What? I'm sure you understand now, Tyrion. Tamora can only afford to pay her exorbitant salary because of my father. You've already burned that bridge. Where do you think the Crimson Demon will go when you can't afford her services anymore? No, she's not... With Flinard dead, she has to worry about her mother. Don't you think she has the luxury of playing hero with you? Or did you actually think that she enjoys spending time with you that much? Tyrion, you have to look at this rationally. The affection she's given you has been to keep you as an employer. You seem to know a lot about these things. I had to do a lot of networking when I was a mercenary. You know how many times I had to charm a merchant into hiring me? Oh, fuck. Why are you telling me this? I'm trying to keep you from getting hurt. It may seem cruel, but you have to be realistic about these things. You trusted Tamora, and she betrayed you. You do well not to make the same mistake twice. Celeste didn't hear anything she said, but she could see how rattled I was. Eris, that's enough! My apologies. I've been told that I've been too blunt sometimes, but I do hope you'll think about what I said. Anyways, the trial should be starting soon. We should make our way back to the courtroom. I'm genuinely curious to see how this trial ends. Hey, Tyrion? Are you okay? What did she say to you? I took my hand, but I instinctively yanked it away. Tyrion? Sorry, I didn't mean to... Okay, really. Okay. I'll think about everything else later. Do what I need to do at the moment. I need to convict Beatrice Frege. Well, goddamn. Holy fuck. Oh. Yeah, get me out of here. Get me out of here. I'm scared. I'm scared.